The mind, the world, suffering, and you. So if you read the first question, why mind triggers us in reaction, sadness, and suffering. So now there is one thing, I have a stress and I have a pain. Can I become aware the world is living within me? Simple. So the simple answer with the principle, live in the world or the world lives in us. There is only one inside, many outside. One inside, many outside. So unless you have that many in your mind, then only the mind falls into ignorance, incomplete knowledge, and it causes suffering. See how the doubt and the duality enters? That has to be scanned with wisdom and understanding. I noted that point when you told me, Lois told me, why you have left that guy? So she is wonderful. She wants to hear you. That is the statement. So if the mind lives into that state of the wisdom, and you thank Louis, first part. Second part, does the mind have a doubt about it? It has created doubt? No, you continue, otherwise you will suffer. So I have to check it with the wisdom. The world starts living with it. Even people in our relationship, even the events happening outside causes the trigger in the mind from the past impressions of fear, of anxiety, of duality, of conflict. Yesterday I gave a group session normally every Thursday to Eastern European people. And the topic was just more or less the same thing. When the mind is filled with the experiences of duality and conflict, because we are working in the world, mind claims that I have a feeling of boredom. So what is the treatment of a boredom? Boredom means I'm doing the same thing again and again and again. So the mind wants a break. And that break means vacation. Right? What is the meaning of vacation? Emptiness. So when I go for vacation, do I keep my mind empty? Or do I fill my mind more with lot of stuff? And if it is really vacation means empty the mind, can I empty the mind daily by these practices? The life is going to change. So the principle is the same. You live in the world. Okay. Is the world living in me? I was driving. Mind says, what should I guide Nancy? I said, no, I have already fixed. Why you are thinking about it? So the mind, I said, no. Keep the mind totally free. Empty. And I entered into your house with that emptiness of the mind. I know the principles. I have repeated these principles. I have guided thousands of people in the last 40 years. And still the mind doubts. Now I will tell you why. Ask yourself, why? the same old stuff the mind does every time, has been doing, has been repeating days after days, weeks after weeks, years after years. What is that? The mind starts projecting happiness outside. What should I guide to Nancy? Why that thought came? Let me treat my thought beautifully. Yes, I should know. I told the mind that it is, I have already understood her. I have already created one page here. Why you are asking me again? And it stopped. Why it does not stop? Question is that is the question. Because it is the same mind projecting happiness outside. If I get, let me think of it. Let me, so expectation of happiness, even first that you are moving towards total wellness, at the same time I get money. See the projection of the happiness. And if I give this thought, if I nourish this thought, if I give food to this thought, then I am gone. Then the same mind will start working in every day. So mind wants to go back to the same vicious circle. This is what I want to say. The mind wants to go back to the same vicious circle. Master says this circle is a cycle of birth and the death. 24 hours. We do the same thing, we repeat the next 24 hours in the same day. You sleep, maybe you dream, you wake up, you work, you eat, you go to evacuation, you take. Can you tell me what is that different, totally new thing that you do? Only these practices. You want to change that my mental pattern. It is not the cycle of birth and the death we will take next birth after 50 or 20 years after we die. We do it every day. Why? The world is living in us. We have to keep this head completely. Day before yesterday, I was laughing within myself. If the people don't understand, the Casey who referred addict to me, and she has been organizing a couple of workshops. And she was saying, no, you understand, you have to give some principles to the beginners so that they can understand. I said, what is the motive behind your saying this? Your motive behind is that this guy must succeed in convincing everyone. Not possible. Why should I carry this burden? Let me put my 100%, explain the principle, give the practice, share the experiences, and if they are willing to continue, they will continue. Now, why I push myself? Why I give too much of pressure on me? And it is 100% that you cannot convince everyone. Be very clear. But now your idea, your expectation that you are giving the program to convince everyone. So there is already a conflict in the mind. So I told her, and then I started laughing. Sometimes people drop me, okay, I laughed at it. It's okay. No way, no one to blame. World living in me, or I live in the world. Anytime the world lives in you, it projects, it blames, it complains, it has a fear, it has an anxiety, it has a yes. That is it. Live into that principle and see what happens. The life changes. So we become something other than what we truly are when the word lives in us. So you read it again, listen to this talk, and sometime just for 5 minutes, let me see, is the word living in me or I'm living in it? Is the word living in me? Yes, the thought of the lowest came, the Eric came, the David came. Oh, the thought of the problem that happened in the workplace has come. Oh, the word is living in me. See that you have to catch, you have to pick up, and you know how to throw it out. Experiences in the mind is not the experiencer. That is what we say viveka and discernment. What it means? What it means? Say I am in stress. So is the stress in me are one, or I am different than the stress? Stress is my experience. So I am different from my experience. Are you understanding? Are you getting it? See that. I see you. I am here, you are there. So I am experiencing you. That is an experience, and still I am different from my experience. Are you understanding? There is a subject, that I am, and there is an object, you are. When you say you see me, you become a subject, means I am, and I become an object of your experience. So what is in a nutshell? The experiences are different than experiencer. What is known is different than the knower. When you see this animal, you don't become this animal. Now, in this case, you don't become this. You are different. So, what are the two things? One is who experiences. The other is the object that you experience. The object that you experience, if it is the word in the mind, that makes you crazy. When it makes you crazy? When the mind is living in ignorance. And when the mind is living in wisdom, then what happens? The same word inside your mind becomes a play and a fun in your life. Same word. Same word. One more point. You have to listen to this again. And I summarized everything. The word, some people say is beautiful. Others say it's full of craziness. We hear. Other people say, no, I should have not lived into this world. It is on the verge of extinction. Lot of ideas. It is based on my experiences of the world. The world as such remains as it is. Every time I come, I see these cages in an aquarium. It remains as it is. Right? But if the mind lives in ignorance, oh, what's the craziness? Now, why she has kept all these aquariums? So this world becomes crazy for me. They have not done anything. You have not done anything. It's your choice. The world is beautiful. When I see this, you see that it becomes a play and fun. I enjoy it. I want to keep it, but I don't have time. Oh, it's okay. It's fine. So when I see the world is beautiful without any attachment, my mind remains free. See that? Mind remains free. Why there is an attachment, why there is a detachment, why there is a liking, why there is a fear, why there is an anxiety with reference to the word? Because this mind lives in ignorance. What is that ignorance? Incomplete knowledge. What is that incomplete knowledge? The mind is projecting something, expecting something from the world outside. If I have to take anything from you, let me express peace and happiness, love and wisdom to you. I will get my reward. There is no chance that I will not get. I will definitely get my reward. So instead of projecting and expecting, let this mind receive that peace and happiness from inside and express in the world. That is the entire journey. Once you become aware, peace bubbling. For example, anyone saying you are crazy, but the peace is bubbling inside, you have a gap, you have a space, and then you have a beautiful response. On that day, you know that you have that level of awareness. I covered that topic on the same event. One day the mind gets upset. On the same event, the mind doesn't get upset. So there is a natural flow of that peace and the calmness. See that? It is, well, there is a pain. Thank you very much, God. You have given me pain. I was totally ignoring the need. Let me take care of you. So now the mind is in wisdom, and now in that wisdom it has a clarity, it has an understanding, it finds all the options and it does it. Finished. There is no fear. Now the mind is living in ignorance of what will happen. Now age process, and then all the investigation, do all the investigations then. But the mind still is living in the fear, what will happen, how can I work, I'm living alone, everything happens right. Everything falls into the right. I'm creating more problem by injecting fear, duality, conflict. See this point. If I have to die today, I will die today. Birth is uncertain, I don't know which parents, and I also don't know the death. That birth and the death is recycling and circling. That we have been doing every 24 hours and repeating every week, every month, every year for the last 40, 50 and 60 years. We are doing the same thing. So if the existence says, come on, let me also do it, let him do it. That is what the death is. So when you allow the mind to live into that state of freedom from the fear, not only the physical illnesses, mental and the emotional, they just flee from your system. I've seen my master days of 85, 86, 90 bubbling with that energy. As if he's just a child. So much of spontaneity. So this is the journey. And then if we pick up, the mind finds security in its habit, I have explained. Permanent security lies within our true nature behind the mind. When we discover our true nature, permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom, the mind experiences the change and it changes the brain, blah blah, I have already talked about. What should I do? Purify the mind. I am in stress, think of, oh, there is some impurity in the mind, let me purify it. Move the mind within. The mind is outside and it is engrossed and immersed in the world outside. How it is immersed in the person A told me something and he should not have said this. Leave this, past this topic. Rubbish. How long we are going to do the same thing? How long? No, David told me so. Oh, thank you, David, you told me. It reminded me that I have to follow the path of peace and happiness. Use the opportunity. Convert that problem into an opportunity. My master always said that, always said that you have to, all the experiences in the mind projects either as a problem or as an opportunity. Mind experiences a particular event as a problem. Mind experiences a particular event as an opportunity. So he cautioned, when the mind experiences it as a problem, your mind is crazy. Turn this into an opportunity. And when the mind is seeing it as an opportunity, in ignorance, it is a bigger craziness. Because it is expecting something. Drop that, clear your mind, check, convert that into an opportunity and start working on it. This is what, so all these practices does allow mind to live within and seek and search our true nature. Let me find out, even if you repeat intellectually, how peace is my essential nature, mind, where that peace has gone, you are blocking it. No problem, no opportunity. First, let me check. Let me relax. Let me calm down. Let me live into that state. You have all those practices. And once you know that, once you live into that and then return. What mind you were saying? That this event is a problem? Mind will say, no, it's not a problem. This is what happens. I remember one thing good and then I'll tell you a wonderful parable and a story. What causes suffering and what will help transcend it? Regular practice. So ultimately, when we say this Eastern wisdom is a darshan, darshan means direct knowledge. Direct knowledge means the self knows the self by the self. That is the goal. At present, when I look at you, see that. When I look at you, I passes through my mind passes through the eyes, and then look at you. So it is an indirect knowledge. I am getting an indirect knowledge from the sense organ and the mind. Now drop this mind, drop the sense organ. Can I see myself? Yes. What is the instrument? The self. The self sees the self by self. The self experiences the self by self. Without mind, without sense organ, it is known as a direct knowledge. Direct knowledge, there is no instruments in between. When there is no instruments in between, you bubble, you awaken to that inner peace and happiness. Last point I remember, long back, I think more than almost 28 or 30 years back when we were in the Himalayas with the Master. He says, you see that there is a small hole in the cave, and we have a wooden door, we close it, and there is a small hole. So a bird entered from that hole into the cave. Now he forgot completely from where to go out. And so we were watching. You see that? Look at this bird. And he gave a very true example. You see that? He does not know from where he entered. That is the only way to go out. Until or unless we open the door. Same thing is with the mind. The mind finds the door to project happiness in the world outside. The mind has found a door to move out. The mind has a freedom. It has a choice. That is the door. That is the opening. That is the hole. So you have to help the mind to go there. See the door. Turn around and be happy. That is the only teaching. But because our mind does not understand, because the mind rationalizes, because the mind lives in ignorance, because the mind takes an about turn, that is why we continue our journey. You see that how simple it is, how easy it is to pick up.